If you've ever built a browser agent, you've probably hit this wall. Every single run, the agent re-explores the same site from scratch. It wanders, figures out the page, does the job, and then just forgets everything the moment that the session ends. Meaning that run 1 and run 100 cost exactly the same. You're paying the discovery tax every time. Autobrowse fixes that. It's a skill for Claude Code that lets your agent iterate on a real task. Learn what works and then transfer that knowledge into a reusable skill file so that the next run skips all of the exploration and goes straight to the answer. Today, I'll show you how to set it up from zero and watch it run live. Okay, let's get into it. So here's what you need. 1, Claude Code installed and running. 2, a Browserbase account in the free tier is fine. 3, an Anthropic API key. And this really could be agent agnostic, but I'm just using Anthropic for this example. So here we're gonna go to the Browserbase dashboard, log in, copy my API key. You're gonna wanna set as environment variables in your terminal. So here we're gonna export the Browserbase API key and then over to the Anthropic console, same thing. Go to the API keys and copy your key there, the Anthropic API key. And the reason we need that Anthropic API key is that Autobrowse actually uses it in its inner agent loop. I'll show you why in a second. Next step, actually installing Autobrowse, and run this command here, npx skills add skill Autobrowse with this command, or you could just install all of Browserbase skills, which includes Autobrowse, with this command, and that single install will give you all 13 Browserbase skills, and then obviously the one we're here for, Autobrowse. So if you like to make browser agents, I recommend just doing the general command. Now for the fun part, let's actually run this thing, okay? The invocation is super simple, just /Autobrowse followed by URL or a plain English description of the task. For this example, I'm just gonna say search Craigslist San Francisco for used road bikes under $500 and return me the listings because I am in the market for a new road bike and I want to automate that into an email that I get every day, but I want it to be as cost efficient as possible, which is why Autobrowse is the perfect tool here. So now that Autobrowse is cooking on that, here's what's happening under the hood. Okay, there are 2 agents at work. There's an inner agent, which opens the browser, navigates the site, and attempts the task. And then there's an outer agent, which is the Autobrowse loop itself, and that reads what the inner agent did, figures out what was slow or wrong, updates a strategy.md file with what it learned, and then sends the inner agent back in with those better instructions. Actually genius. It's so cool. So this will run up to 5 iterations by default, and it'll short circuit early if it converges. So as this is running, we can see on iteration 1, the agent navigates to Craigslist, finds the listing, but burns 20+ turns chasing URLs through CSS selectors that didn't work. And by iteration 3, the outer loop has updated the strategy file with what actually has failed at that point. And by iteration 5, it's down to only 6 turns. Extract the text, output JSON, stop. And the amazing thing about Autobrowse is often these iterations return loopholes or shortcuts that you would just never find manually. And other times, like here, the gold is subtler. The agent learned what to stop doing and then converged that minimum viable path. And then it graduates the skill. So let's look at what actually came out on the other side here. The graduated skill, a plain markdown file that now just lives in your Claude skills directory. Any future agent you run can load and execute this instantly. At the top, we have metadata, the site, recommended method, when it was last updated, and then we have the actual workflow. And this is the key thing. It didn't just document the obvious path. It found that .results is the only selector that works on Craigslist React SPA and that URLs simply aren't extractable. So it stops trying, and that discovery is now baked in permanently. So the mental model is simple. The first run is expensive on purpose because it's the run that pays for every other run after that. To recap the setup, okay, you're gonna grab your browser base and agent keys, install the skill, and invoke it with /Autobrowse followed by whatever task you want it to learn. Try it on something you actually care about. The more annoying or complex the site, the more Autobrowse tends to find shortcuts that no human would think to look for. Docs will be linked in the replies, and reply back to me what skill you created with Autobrowse.